Could you imagine the unlikely bond that could form between a wild animal, such as a lion, and a human, lasting for years? One day, a compassionate woman named Heather ventured deep into the forest while blazing a trail. Amidst her exploration, she stumbled upon a feeble lion cub in dire straits. Without hesitation, she decided to rescue the unfortunate creature, ensuring it would not succumb to the perils of the night. Little did she know, this act of kindness would set in motion a remarkable turn of events that would profoundly alter her life. Heather, like any other ordinary American woman, led a typical life, but harbored a profound love for adventure and travel. Whenever she wasn't at work, she embarked on journeys to diverse locations, embracing activities such as hiking, camping, and exploration. Her taste for adventure was insatiable, a passion she pursued with unwavering dedication. Throughout her travels, she encountered a symphony of sounds from the animal kingdom, ranging from the endearing and charming to the imposing and menacing. Heather's extensive experience had honed her instincts, enabling her to discern when to investigate mysterious animal sounds and when to exercise caution. She usually steered clear of potentially perilous situations. However, fate took an unexpected turn during one of her mountain hikes. While navigating the rugged terrain, Heather heard a plaintive call in the distance, its melancholic tone tinged with fear and desperation. Despite her seasoned explorer's instincts telling her to carry on, something about these haunting cries tugged at her heartstrings. Against her better judgment, she veered towards the source of the sorrowful sounds, unable to resist the inexplicable urge. As she ventured further, Heather emerged onto a patch of tall grass. There were no visible creatures, yet the cries grew louder and more desperate. Without hesitation, she brushed aside the foliage and came upon a tiny, distressed creature emitting those heartrending calls. To her astonishment, it was a kitten covered in grime and dust, its frail form indicating days of hunger. With no sign of parental care in sight, it was evident that this helpless kitten was abandoned and left to fend for itself. Heather couldn't bear to leave it to the harsh whims of nature. After all, did her compassionate heart not call her to intervene when such an opportunity arose? She made a pact with herself. If the kitten remained in the same spot and was alive the following day, she would rescue it and endeavor to nurse it back to health. If not, she would reluctantly leave the kitten behind. However, Heather wasn't ready to abandon the situation entirely. Returning to her vehicle, she gathered any available food and a backup bottle of water. Carrying these supplies, she carefully placed them beside the kitten. The famished kitten eagerly devoured the provisions and responded with a brief, joyful yelp when she tenderly stroked its tiny head. That night, sleep eluded Heather as she fretted over the fate of the kitten. With the first light of dawn, she hastened back to the location where she had first encountered the little creature. To her astonishment, the kitten emerged from the grass and ran toward her immediately, clearly recognizing her from the day before. It was evident that this vulnerable creature had placed its trust in Heather, understanding that its mother would not return to care for it. Heather found herself with only one course of action. Returning to her vehicle, she gently scooped up the small cat and cautiously drove it home. Over the ensuing days and weeks, Heather formed an extraordinary and profound bond with the once stray animal, granting it the freedom to roam her property while ensuring its every need, including food, was met. As time passed, Heather made a startling revelation. The creature she had saved was not a mere kitten. It had grown to the size of a small dog and displayed increasingly pronounced lion-like characteristics with each passing day. Heather struggled to come to terms with this unexpected truth. In light of her suspicions, Heather decided to visit a veterinary clinic with the cub for confirmation. The veterinarian conducted a thorough examination and tests, swiftly confirming Heather's belief. The kitten was, in fact, a young male lion. While the experts advised releasing the cub back into the wild, Heather found herself reluctant to part with the small creature they had both grown to love so deeply in such a short time. Regrettably, it became evident that a massive male lion could not serve as a suitable companion. Their natural habitat was the wild, among their fellow lions, as they were destined to live freely. It became apparent that the lion would thrive in a far more suitable environment. The veterinarian recommended that the best course of action would be to send the male lion to Africa. There he could spend the rest of his days on the expansive, sun-drenched plains, reigning as the king of the jungle and forming his own pride. After all preparations were made, the male lion was ready to be relocated. Only a few short weeks later, Heather found it increasingly challenging to accommodate him at home as he continued to grow. His size, rather than any aggression or violence, made it impossible for him to coexist comfortably, inadvertently causing considerable damage. During this time, the lion emitted a poignant, mournful roar, reminiscent of the one that had initially moved Heather. She too grieved as her colossal friend was loaded into a cage on the back of a transport truck. This could have marked the bittersweet conclusion of their remarkable tale. However, as time passed, Heather received a sobering diagnosis. She was terminally ill with just a few months left to live, according to her doctors. Contemplating how she wanted to spend her remaining time, she felt unwavering certainty about her top priority. She yearned to journey to Africa to see the lion one last time, ensuring he was thriving and bidding him a proper farewell. Before embarking on her arduous voyage from America, Heather's declining health made the journey exceptionally challenging, especially for her frail condition. Nevertheless, she deemed it worth every effort. Before she knew it, she found herself in a vehicle with a group of safari rangers, venturing deep into what appeared to be an empty plain under the scorching sun. During this time, there was no sight or sound of any animals. However, soon Heather spotted a small cluster of trees in the distance. Beneath them, she discerned the silhouettes of 7 or 8 lions of varying ages, including some cubs. Among the lions, there were lionesses and a male lion, an imposing figure of brute strength. Could this be the very cub she had rescued? The vigilant rangers kept a watchful eye out for potential threats. Meanwhile, Heather surprised everyone by stepping out of the vehicle into the open air. The rangers hastily shouted at her, urging her to return to the safety of the vehicle, but their warnings came too late. The lions were already drawing closer, with the dominant male, the largest of the group, leading the way. Heather, surprisingly composed, extended her hand. To everyone's astonishment, the lion halted and curiously sniffed at her. Upon recognizing Heather's scent, the lion immediately recalled their past connection. It affectionately nuzzled her delicate form with its powerful head, emitting a joyful growl. Even though the park keepers appeared apprehensive, it was evident that the lion still remembered his former companion. Tears of happiness streamed down Heather's cheeks as she basked in the joy of this reunion. Although the lion could never repay her for her kindness, nor could he cure her from the terminal illness she was battling, the fact that she could reunite with her old friend meant the world to her. It was all because of that fateful day long ago when Heather's compassion led her to dedicate her life to helping a vulnerable creature. That's the incredible tale. Does it leave you astounded? Now it's your turn to share your thoughts on this remarkable story. If you had come across that helpless lion cub, would you have rescued it? Have you ever heard of such a profound and enduring friendship between a human and a lion? We always value your input. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. We look forward to hearing from you in the next video. Thank you for watching.